For a few weeks now I've been having the problem with the water running low on my 2.5 V6 Jaguar X Type, and you can see here I've actually marked here where it normally sits, and it should actually be sitting up here. Well, the other day I found out why it was actually running low, although I couldn't find a puncture in it anywhere and I couldn't find where the water was coming from. On the way to Devizes, which is a 155-mile journey, my radiator decided to split, and here at the front here, this is the air conditioning monitor, there was a little tiny jet of water spurting out of here. So 100 miles into my journey, I needed to do another 55 miles. I went to the Chieveley services, I got into the services and I managed to get a bottle of Radweld and a bottle of antifreeze, and that sealed the hole. I was able to get to Devizes, which was 55 miles, and then I was able to get back, which was 155 miles, and I count myself extremely lucky. However, the radiator is knackered, so I'm going to have to change it. And this is all behind the front of the car, so I'm actually going to take the front of the car off, which is not as hard as it sounds because it's only held on with 6 bolts. While we're here, that's what's left of my bracket for the splitter vane. I'm going to address that problem as well. I've jacked the car up nice and high, supporting it on the chassis rails, because obviously I've got to drop the radiator out through the bottom, and the first thing I have to do is take off this plastic plate, and this is held on with these Torx headed screws. They take a TX30 Torx head bit, and I bought a rail of these from B&Q for about $5.99, and the nice thing about this one is it fits in the head of my electric screwdriver. So, remembering the car's 16, nearly 17 years old, I've had to use a massive old T-bar just to undo these little screws. This can take longer than I thought. And worse still, where it's corroded, you can see that the speed fastener is just trying to tear the bottom out of my moulding, so I may have to damage this in order to get it apart. You would not believe how tenacious these bloody fasteners are. I've actually cut that right in half, and that still won't give up. I'll have to go further into the middle of it, I think. Okay, so most of these are seized or so corroded that the head's round, and I've had to use a Dremel to cut new slots to get them off. I've managed to pop out the side here. So this is a lesson in what not to do. Don't try and grind them off with the angle grinder, because it heats the plastic up so much it melts it. At least then you can pull the fitting through, I guess. I can remake this with polymorph, but I don't want to damage every single one, and I've got about 6 more to get off. That one has just wrung itself out through the plastic, so now the underside there is damaged. Again, I can repair this with polymorph. This is just ending up to be a massive repair job. Only supposed to be changing the radiator. Right, I'm starting to get there. None of these things will undo. They're all seized. So I've actually gone back to my inadvertent technique of heating them up with the angle grinder and then pulling them through the plastic, and they pull through to a hole the same size as the washer. Which simply means I can either rebuild the hole or put a much bigger washer on when I put it back together. I've managed to get everything undone except these last 2 here. And I don't actually need to take those off to take the front bumper off. Now, in order to get the bumper off, apparently there's only 6 screws, and up there, behind this, here, which is where you can't see it, there's a bolt head. On this side it feels on okay, on the other side it feels rusty as hell, so this might be a problem as well. Well, this side's been easy. Undid it with a 10mm ring spanner, and then I could use a 10mm socket and just twist it off. And it's a little bolt like this. This one's in good condition, it's the other side that worries me. Well, I was dead lucky with that. That's rusty as hell, and in fact the head is shrunk, but I was able to use a 10mm ratchet spanner to get it undone and then get the socket on it. There's 4 more holding the bumper on. One there, one there, one there, and one there. And you can see these mouldings are all split, so I may have to repair those as well. This is the connector to the fog lights. It's taken me bloody ages to work out how it works. This red piece here, this slides back and forwards, so when it's locked it's in this position, so you then pull it right to the edge, and then when you've done that you can just pull it apart. Well, this is my nice shiny new radiator, which I've paid £58 for. It's not a Jaguar OEM, it's a patent part from a radiator company that specialises in radiators. And I've just had a look at the front of my car and I can't believe this. This is the bottom of my radiator. And can you see this beautiful curve that it describes? I'm surprised that the car has been running at all, and then it just hasn't chucked water everywhere. Look, you can actually scrape out the fins. Now this must have been like this for years because it's really corroded, but I've never noticed it before. Well, I know they talk about built-in obsolescence, but I'm quite impressed by the level of abuse that's taken before it's given up. The radiator is supported on a spar, which is here, which runs the whole length of it, and then it has 4 bolts in there, so I should be able to get those off because I can get both sides of this. One of the advantages of obviously taking the bumper off.